Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Layo Adegoke. The World Health Organization says it has identified counterfeit versions of India's primary COVID vaccine, Covishield. A statement from the world body says these doses were seized by authorities in India and Africa between July and August. It also said the vaccine's maker, Serum Institute of India, confirmed that the doses were fake, posing a serious risk to global public health. It has called for their removal from circulation. However, there's been no official statement by the Indian government, but local reports say the country's health ministry is investigating the matter. Public health physician at the University College Hospital in Ibadan, Dr. Sheila Kiyami, joins us now for more discussions on the vaccination drive in Nigeria and also in Africa. Thank you so much for speaking to us on the program. You are a public health physician. Talk to us about the danger this poses to global health.
Thank you very much for having me. Yeah, the danger is huge. The danger of counterfeit vaccine to the drive against COVID-19 pandemic. The counterfeit vaccines are going to draw us back because, one, they are likely to have greater adverse effects. Apart from that, they are going to give us this false assurance. Many people are going to think, oh, I've gotten the jab against COVID-19. Yet, it's not going to contribute to the herd immunity we've been talking about so that the whole population is protected. Apart from that, it's going to damage the trust. At the beginning of the release of the vaccination, we had so much issue about vaccine hesitancy, and we are still grappling with that, with the fake vaccines flooding the market now. And when people start having some unexplainable adverse effect, it's going to damage the trust and the trust in the system, the trust they have in the vaccines, and it's going to draw us back many decades back. So we all need to fight it. We all need it. It's a serious menace, not only in Africa, but all over the world. It's been reported in Europe, in Latin America, in India, and it's a serious global menace. We have to fight it. We have to deal with it. We need security agencies to fish out these unscrupulous persons trying to make gain at the risk of lives of other people. They need to be smoked out. They need to be dealt with so that we can restore confidence, or people's confidence in public health, global health agencies. So we really need to do something about it, and our government needs to act fast in COVID-19.
Well, Thankfully, here in Nigeria, there's been no report of inoculation with fake jabs. But what should be the priority of, the Africa CDC in light of this announcement? Because according to the WHO, these fake doses were seized by authorities in Africa between July and this month.
Yeah, I believe that we need to invest massively in public enlightenment. Public enlightenment, we need to invest massively so that when people want to get this vaccine, they go to public health centers, or certified private facilities that they could get the authentic, the real COVID vaccine. And these public health centers, the data is taken, the batch of the vaccine is recorded and can be traced, and the records are well kept so that we can monitor any possible adverse effects following vaccination. So I think we should enlighten the public back that wherever you go, at least in Nigeria, I can say, and you have been asked for money, that should be a red flag. To the best of my knowledge, presently the COVID vaccine is being offered free of charge. So nobody should fall to the trap of these unscrupulous persons. We should ensure we get the vaccine at certified public facilities or certified private facilities. And I think this Africa CDC should invest in public enlightenment so that people should know what should they look out for. Even health facilities should know how to recognize the authentic vaccines. And all vaccines should be channeled as it's being done currently through NAFDAC, so that it is only when NAFDAC has certified these vaccines that they are given to the public. I believe that is what we should be investing in. That should be the way forward.
Well, okay, finally, let's talk about the general vaccination drive in the country. More jabs have been received, and this brings up the question of storage. You know, cold chain storage is very important, especially for these Moderna and Pfizer-BioNTech vaccines. How can we ensure, there's no wastage, and then when it's time to inoculate, these vaccines are still potent?
Yeah, the NPHCD, that's the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, have shown us in the last few weeks that they have the capacity to store this vaccine at the required temperature. So I want to believe that there is nothing to fear. And I also like the fact that this single-dose vaccine, Johnson & Johnson, according to the NPHCDA, they said they will give to people who are from hard-to-reach regions of the country. And I think this makes sense. So I think we have nothing to fear. The NPHCDA has shown us their storage facilities, and they said they have enough capacity to store this vaccine that have just been received. So, and these vaccines comes with tools, vaccine bar monitor, that will show us that the cold chain has not been broken. So I want to say that the public has nothing to fear. If this vaccine is not maintained at certain temperature, cold chain, it will show. So we have something to monitor. So we have nothing to fear. And I think the NPHCDA, they are doing the right thing. Thank you very much.
Public health physician at the University College Hospital in Ibadan, Dr. Sheila Kiyami, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
The United States has sent nearly 500,000 doses of the Pfizer vaccine to Rwanda. White House spokesman Kevin Munoz says it includes part of 500 million shots pledged and purchased this summer by President Joe Biden's administration for the COVAX initiative. However, Rwanda, which has vaccinated 10% of its adult population, is yet to confirm receipt of the U.S. donation. Earlier this year, the World Health Organization warned that the world faced a catastrophic moral failure because rich nations had been hoarding COVID vaccines and urged them to donate jabs to poorer nations. Rwanda, which saw infections spike in July because of the Delta variant, has vaccinated almost 1 million people since February. Now, on Sunday, health officials say they hoped normal life will resume in the country by early 2022 if vaccination rates continue as scheduled. To other stories now, the trial of former Burkina Faso President Blaise Compaoré and 13 co-accused over the 1987 assassination of his predecessor Thomas Sankara will start on the 11th of October. Military prosecutors in Burkina Faso's capital, Ouagadougou, say the trial is to be conducted in public. Mr. Compaoré was forced into exile in 2014 after he attempted to change the law to extend his rule. He currently lives in Côte d'Ivoire and may be tried in absentia. In April, a Burkina Faso military tribunal indicted him for attack on state security, complicity in murder, and concealment of corpses, but he has always denied involvement in Sankara's assassination. At least 7 people have died after heavy rains in Ethiopia's capital, Addis Ababa. Rivers burst their banks in the capital, causing flooding. Now, the city's acting mayor, Adanech Abiebie, says the damage to life and property is severe in several areas of the city. According to local media, dozens of people have been injured and are being treated in different hospitals. The mayor expressed her grief for flood victims, saying that the city has learned the need to do more to minimize the impact of heavy rain during the raining seasons. Authorities in South Sudan say more than 30 civilians were killed on Tuesday following 2 days of intercommunal violence in restive Warrap state in central South Sudan. Warrap is the home state of President Salva Kiir. Violence has been rife in a number of areas in the state, including Tonj North and Tonj East counties, which have been the scene of recent clashes. The Information Minister, Ring Deng, said that 29 people were also wounded in the clashes involving 3 neighboring communities. He attributes the cause of the violence to cattle raids. Mr. Deng also says efforts are on the way to reinforce security in areas in order to contain the situation that is rapidly deteriorating. Let's head over to Tunisia now, where citizens are happy with President Kais Saied for his efforts in tackling corruption and inflation. However, the Tunisian president still faces a looming fiscal crisis. Now, this comes 3 weeks after he sacked the prime minister and froze the parliament. He is yet to appoint a new government, articulate any broad economic policy, or say how he intends to finance the public deficit and debt repayments.
At the Sidi Bari market in Tunis, shoppers were pleased with the president's attacks on corruption and high prices since he seized control of the government last month in moves his foes called a coup. President Kais Saied has criticized Tunisia's economic policy, urging traders to charge less for food and medicine, and accused unnamed businessmen of stealing billions of dollars while police are investigating corruption in state industry.
Yes, I have hope, and God willing, the situation will improve. And it is improving one step at a time, in my opinion. The citizen feels reassured and prices have gone down in everything. People were under huge pressure.
President Saied's intervention has paused much delayed talks with the International Monetary Fund for a loan program that was expected to unlock further economic assistance and avert a crisis in public finances. Tunisia paid back more than $1 billion in debt this summer from foreign currency reserves, but must find about $5 billion more to finance its projected budget deficit and more loan repayments. Even though some commend the president's efforts, others are not too convinced.
I don't have much confidence in the president to change the situation because it's not in his hands alone. This process needs the mentalities of all Tunisian people to change. It has to come from the lowest ranking to the highest ranking people. He cannot do everything by himself. Controlling traders, vegetables, or meat. If they are to lower the prices, we need to change mentalities.
The economy shrunk 8.2% last year, while the deficit of 11.5% drove public debt to 87% of gross domestic product, according to the IMF. Both the powerful labor unions and foreign lenders see little choice but to resume the IMF process.
The first reforms are the fight against corruption, and this parallel economy must be cut off, which does not only target workers and the people, but also targets the national capital. As for the IMF, we are familiar with the way this fund works. We also want to direct support to those who deserve it.
Such reforms, including redirecting subsidies and shrinking one of the world's heaviest public sector wage burdens, are unpopular and will come at a time when the public mood is highly volatile. Anger at economic stagnation, aggravated by the pandemic, helped drive widespread popular support for Saied's sudden intervention on July 25th.
Still ahead on the program. Hyena men in northern Nigeria put these malign animals to center stage, using them to make a living. Please stay with us for more details. Welcome back to the program. Algerian authorities say they have established with scientific and technical evidence that separatists were involved in the killing of a man falsely accused of starting forest fires in the province of Tizi Ouzou. Videos released by the police show suspects confessing to beating up and burning to death Jamal Ben Smail, who had traveled 123 miles from his province of Ain Defla to help battle wildfires. Some suspects also confessed to being members of the movement for the autonomy of Kabylie, which seeks to split the Berber-speaking region from the rest of Algeria. More than 90 people, including 33 soldiers, have perished in wildfires that hit the northern Algeria, mainly the provinces of Tizi Ouzou and Béjaïa. Let's get an update on the situation in Uganda with regards to the refugees that are expected from Afghanistan. On Tuesday, Ugandan Refugee Ministry said they were accepting 2,000 Afghan refugees fleeing their country at the request of the U.S. Halima Atumani is the VOA's Ugandan journalist in Kampala. She joins us now to give us an update. Hello, Halima. Thank you for speaking to us. My first question to you, have the refugees arrived from Afghanistan?
Not yet, not that we are aware of. I think from yesterday, as journalists, we kept our ears on the ground. You know, you've been trying to call the Ministry of Refugees and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And as far as we're concerned, and also just having sources at the airport. And what we know now is that the refugees are yet to become. A few sources at the airport say they were expecting them right from Monday. But there's no sign of any Afghan refugee in the country at the moment.
Well, if and when they arrive, what is the government's plan in hosting them?
So the information that we got for yesterday from the State Minister for Disaster, that's Esther Anyakun, was that they were expecting 2,000 refugees from Afghanistan, but they would be received in batches of 500. So what we understand is that they will be, on arrival, of course, they'll have to go through the screening and the testing, and then there will be hotels hired for them in Entebbe. Now, Entebbe is where the airport is, but also it's a town where the national airport is, and that's where they will be staying. The one thing that I think that we need to understand about, or what is unique about these Afghan refugees, that Uganda being home to over 1.5 million refugees at the moment, most times the country will find a district with large swaths of land and then, take these refugees there and let them start on their own, which is something that people are asking. What happens? Is this what is going to be happen to the refugees from Afghanistan? And we're not sure. So for now, all we know is that it's going to be a hotel paid for probably by the U.S. government and in coordination with the Ugandan government and UNHCR.
Well, just like you said, Uganda has a long history of hosting refugees and is currently home to, over 1 million people. What has been the reception to this from the Ugandan people?
I think Ugandans are, again, asking themselves, what happens? These are not your ordinary refugees. We come to understand that it's possible that we're actually receiving government officials. How are you sending a government official in a settlement outside of Kampala? What happens to them? What will they be doing when they come into the country? So I think for many Ugandans, it's more of how are they going to be treated? Where will they stay? Is the government going to foot the bill? But of course, now we know that it's actually the US government that is going to foot the bill. But also there's the human side of it. On social media in Uganda is awash with pictures of Afghanistan women, and men are saying, when do they arrive? Does the government need any help in welcoming these refugees into the country? And and there's all these posts about, when they come, I think finally we're going to find different women to marry, women who will not ask for transport money to work on their hair and things like that. So I think there's the serious side to it, and then there's the humorous side to it.
All right, then we'll just have to wait and see when they indeed arrive. Thank you so much, Halima Asumani, VOA's correspondent in Uganda.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
As we end the program today, a hyena may not be your average house pet, but in northern Nigeria, some men keep the creatures in their homes, display them at festivals, and even use their dung to make remedies. 24-year-old Abdullahi Jahun comes from a line of hyena men, as they are called. He learned how to tame and handle a hyena from his father and now makes a living from touring around northern Nigeria to entertain crowds with his own animal.
A hyena may not be your average house pet, but in northern Nigeria, some men keep the creatures in their homes, display them at festivals, and even use their dung or saliva to make remedies. Abdullahi Jahun comes from a line of hyena men. He learned how to tame and handle a hyena from his father and now makes a living with them.
This was my job when I started walking as a child. I used to see my elders do it and became enthusiastic about it. Then I started it and I'm performing till date. I used to be a spectator, but now I perform at shows and people watch.
Jahun says he captured his hyena 2 years ago and has taken it to events such as festivals, coronations of traditional rulers, and durbas, a type of parade where horsemen in colorful costumes show off their skills to honor a local emir. Jahun and his hyena usually appear alongside other street performers such as snake charmers, drummers, and dancers.
It is part of our culture and tradition, and it has been established for a long time, since our parents and our grandparents. Whoever missed home has missed home, and that's why we inherit it, and we want our children to follow in our footsteps.
He allows children to sit on its back, and sometimes he carries a child on his own shoulder and the hyena around his hips at the same time. Depending on the size of the crowd, he makes between 8,000 and 20,000 naira per parent. Hyenas are often viewed as repulsive and sinister, partly due to their scavenging habits in the wild, but traditional leader Nasir Wada says hyena men have been part of popular culture in northern Nigeria for many generations.
Clashes of culture between what we know for hundreds, if not thousands of years, and what modernity is trying to bring to us. What you have seen now is a dying art or dying breed or a dying aspect of the culture. It used to be really prolific, but not anymore, because even the hyenas are endangered.
Wada acknowledged that the ways of hyena men may not chime with modern ideas about treatment of animals, and conservationists have raised questions about how they are captured and kept. But Yaya Kawu, a farmer, hunter, and traditional healer who lives with a hyena and several snakes in a rural town in Kano State, says his animals are considered part of normal life in his community.
Mukan taimaka masa, musamman yanzu da Allah ya kawo wani lokaci na yara masu yawan shaye-shayen abubuwan da zai zo kwakwalwarsu ta karkace, ta kada ka ga yaro lafiya bai rasa ci ba bai rasa sha ba, ya samu kulawa a gaban iyayensa bakin gwargwado, amma ya haɗu da wasu abokanai sun je sun lalata masa tarbiyya, shine shaye-shaye, shine taba kayan wani, ma'ana sata kenan da sauransu. To hakika mukan taimaka akan wannan, kuma kaga an samu waraka da kuma sauransu.
His mud brick compound regularly attracts gaggles of children eager to look at the animals, and neighbors who have just slaughtered a goat sometimes offer him a gift of meat for his hyena.
Beautiful and diverse cultures all across Africa. That's it on the program today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Layo Adigoke.